لطفاً براش بزنیم.
حرف بزن. یه صلوات بلندم لطفاً بگیم. بازم تشکر میکنم از رعایت سکوتتون. الان یه مهمون خیلی مخصوصی اومده امشب اینجا پلومون. Our next guest is attorney Nuria Faizi. So Ms. Faizi graduated from the University of Texas School of Law and received her BA from the Southern Methodist University, double majoring in political science and international studies, with a regional specialization in Middle East and North Africa. She also has a minor in corporate communications and public affairs. Nuria began her career as a criminal prosecutor with the City of San Diego City Attorney's Office. She then advised the city on labor and employment issues and other civil matters for almost 10 years. Having immigrated from war-torn Afghanistan at the age of 1, Nuria answered her calling to venture out to Afghanistan to help the rebuilding efforts. As a gender justice advisor for a rule of law mission funded by the U.S. State Department, she had the opportunity to assist the government of Afghanistan with training and professional development of judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys on gender justice issues pursuant to Islamic law, international human rights standards, and newly implemented legislation to eliminate violence against women. لطفاً یک صلوات بگیم که سکوت بشیم. Nuria had her own private law practice for several years, focusing on employment law, business law, criminal defense, and family law. She is a member of the Muslim Advisory Board to the San Diego Police Department and currently works as a labor relations specialist for IECSD Health Systems. But her most beloved job is being a proud mother to her 2 children, Layli and Ryan, who are also joining us here tonight. There's Layli over there, and where's Ryan at? Somewhere over there in the crowd. So please give a loud applause to bring our attorney up. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. اول میخوایم از امام صابری و از آفیسر معین جان تشکری بکنم از دعوتتان. بسیار خوش هستم که امرایتان امشب موقع دارم که صحبت کنم. پیش از پیش بخشش میخوایم که فارسی کمک کند است اما کوشش میکنم یک سیش اگر در انگلیسی صحبت بکنم و ضبط میخوایم پیش از پیش اما اگر لغت ها برام آسانتر در چی میشه در انگلیسی روانتر میتونم گپ بزنم. اما بسیار به افتخار است که امروز شما اینجا هستم امشب و سر موضوعی که گپ میزنم من از آفیسر معین جان سوال کردم که چی میخواید که مثلا چی صحبت بکنم و برای من موضوعی که داده شد مسئله رول زنای مسلمان در جامعه چی است و سر از این موضوع که ذره فکر کردم گفتم این بسیار یک broad subject است. از هر نگاه آدم میتونه پیش ببرم، از نگاه psychology، از نگاه finance، از نگاه profession، از نگاه education، از هر نگاه آدم میتونه سرش گپ بزنه و چون وقتم کم است یک چند نوت هم به خود جور کردم که میتونم نظر بدم تجربه خود گپ بزنم. Obviously, I'm not a scholar. I am just a regular person with, my own experiences, and to the extent that I bring up anything with religion, please understand that it's not coming from a scholarly perspective. Again, it's just based on my own reading, my own attempts to try to learn the deen to the extent that I can. So, having said that, so I'm sorry. So, role of Muslim women. وقتی که آدم فکر میکنه در وقتا بسیار از نگاه از generally speaking کلگی بسیار سر مسئله زن فوکس میکنه در وقتا. دیروز International Women's Day بود. پارسال there was the women's march in Washington that spread all over the country امسال باز گرفتن بودن the January they into San Diego and all over. There's the Me Too movement. There's all these things going on. و کل از این مسئله سرزیست که رول زن چی است، منظور ما چی است و خصوصا در وقت هستیم که باعث زن مسلمان رول ما چی است. باعث زن که از مثلا نزدیک ملک‌ها اینجا ایمیگریت کردیم یا در اینجا کلان شدیم یا مثلا کوشش میکنیم که مسلم ایدنیتی خود نگاه کنیم while living in a Western society. من خودم شخصا در افغانستان تولد شدم، 1 ساله بودم، 1.5 ساله بودم وقتی که مادرمشان از اونجا برآمدن. آلمان رفتیم 1 چند سال و در 5 سالگی در اینجا در امریکا آمدیم. از 5 سالگی تا حال 30 چند سال شده که هستیم. من از اون خوردی همیشه میفهمیدم که من میخواستم یک مسئله حقوقی را پیش ببرم. همیشه میشنویدم که زنای مسلمان چه پسرشان مشکلات است، زنای مسلمان قضیه نداره، قضور نداره. در خانه خودم شخصا نه، اما از دیگه میشنویدم، در خبرها میدیدم. مردم اکثرشان بسیار نمیفهمیدن. حالا ما که قضیات میفهمند، در وقتای پیش نمیفهمیدن. اما چیزی را که میفهمیدن صحیح نمیبود. همیشه پیش من یک سوال خلق شده بود که what exactly is our role as Muslim women؟ حق ما چی است؟ خداوند به ما چی گفته که مسئولیت ما چی است؟ چی باید بکنیم؟ و هرچقدر که دیدم و شنیدم زیادتر سرگرم عدالت بود و از خوردی علاقه گرفتم که من باید وکیل شوم از 7 سالگی. قضیاتم نمیفهمیدم که وکیل دعوا چی میگه، اما I knew I needed to be a lawyer one day. در اون فکر پیش رفتم. در وقتی که law school application میدادم برام گفتم که position statement نوشته کن که تو چرا میخوای وکیل شوی. Actually, چرت زدم, it all came back down to that same thing. که در افغانستان چی حالت هست؟ آدم میدید که سرزنان چی حال میامد؟ چی از نگاه society، از نگاه جنگ، از هر رقمش که میسنجید women were just not getting a fair shake in Afghanistan. And that's what motivated me. که من خودم باید برسانم. من باید از اون رقم که شخصا کلان شدم در یک خانواده که به من گفته شد که تو از مرد کم نیستی، تو خودت مرد خود باید باشی. خداوند بر تو عقل داده، خداوند بر تو سواد داده، تو باید خود برسانی، تو باید یک نماینده باشی بر دیگاه که وام دادن چی کنی. هر وقت سوال می داشتم از بابی از مادرم، برای می گفتن که قرآن شریف میبینی در سر تاق که یک ذره خاک جمع کرده، خاک شپاک و ماچ کو بفهمن خدا، چیزی که ما نمیفهمیم بیا ما رو بفهمن. گفتم اوکی. از خوردی بسیار سوال جواب was questioning everything. هر چیزی که برام میگفتن یک چرا در سرش میداشتم. چرا؟ برام بفهمانیم چرا. و نمو برام ماند. تا به لا سکولم که رفتم، حتی بعد از لا سکول همیشه یک سوال پیشم بود اوکی خداوند کی رقم میگه که حق مایی است، مقام مایی است، جنت زیر پای مادر است. چرا زنای مسلمان به این رقم تریت میشن؟ چرا زنای مسلمان به این رقم اکشن از پیشان گرفته میشن؟ Obviously, as time passed and as I learned more and as I read more, فهمیدم که اوکی اصل اسلام این نیست. این interpretation و کلچر است متاسفانه که این رقم مردم interpretش میکنه و اپلیکیشنشان غلط است. در لا سکول که من رفتم من گفتم که من میخوایم که دیگریم استفاده کنم برای از که من بتونم که همون چیزی که من یاد گرفتم بتونم شیر کنم و تا جایی که یک نفر قدرت داره من بتونم ایوان تغییرات بیارم، چی در مابین خانه باشه، چی در مابین فامیل باشه، در سوسایتی باشه یا در پس افغانستان باشه. همیشه پیش من بود که من باید یک دفعه پس برم در افغانستان. از خوردی خود چیز یادم زیاد نمیماند، اما گفتم باید برم یک دفعه و من میخوایم که چیزی که من خودم میدارم participate کنم in the rebuilding or in changing the ways من باید بدارم. در سال 2009 برام یک موقع پیدا شد که بتونم از طریق وزارت خارجه امریکا برم همراه قانوندانا در اونجا کار کنیم و کوشش کردیم که برای از اونا tools و resources بدیم که بتونیم که legal skillsشان رو develop کنیم، legal systemشان رو develop کنیم، حق زن امرایشان گپ بزنیم. و as you can imagine it was very difficult at times. می رفتیم مثلا در جلال آباد می رفتیم یا در ایرات می رفتیم، در قریا می رفتیم و کلانای ما، ریش سفیدای ما میشیشتن در پیشوی با من حساب میکردن که اوکی نال بگو. و of course هم اکسایت میکردن که اوکی از امریکا آمده، در اونجا کلان شده، آلیجا آمده، برباب میگه که ما چی رقم مثلا کار خود پیش ببریم، چی رقم دخترای خود درس بدیم، چی رقم پیش بریم. پیش از پیش میده مثلا باز طریق بادی لنگویج ببینه که کمک مشکل بود برشن. اما as soon as I would open my mouth I would start to see a difference. I would start to see them to open up a little more and to be more open to the discussion and the dialogue. و به من بسیار جالب می بود نظر به اینکه چی رقم شروع می شد اون کانورسیشن یا اون مجلس تا به وقتی که تکمیل می شد بسیار فرق داشت. به اندازه می رسید که آدمای سرسفید می گفت فارغتن که تو به ما بگو که مثلا ما در قریه که هستیم و ما نمیتونیم که دخترای خود را رایی کنیم از ترس از اینکه باش کسیگه چیز نگوه یا باش که خطر برشان پیش نشه کس آزارشان نده، اما ما میخوایم که اولادای ما مثلا برن درس بخورن، ما میخوایم که دخترای ما تحصیل کنن، ما میخوایم که دخترای ما برسه. ترس داریم که باش از دینشان چی نشه، خصوصا از اون طرفا که میان شما چی یاد میدن. And all that was an understandable fear. مثلا من خودم شخصا اینه دخترم است 10 ساله، بچه من سبب خیر 7 ساله میشه. آل باعث این مادرم میفهم که این جامعه که زندگی میکنیم و مادر خود اینجا کلان میکنیم که چی رقم خواهد شود، چی رقم میشه که ما بتونیم خصوصا در این political atmosphere که فعلا هستیم که اولادای خود چی رقم کلان کنیم که بازم افتخار کنن سرمو دین خود، سر مذهب خود، سر کلچر خود، سر زبان خود، سر همه چیز خود، اما بازم بتونن پیش برن، موفق باشن در درس خود، در تحصیل خود، در کار خود اینا. The first thing that I can do, of course, is just look to my own parents and to think, okay, اونا کدوم چی کردن، من میتونم پس رو میگذره چی کنم، repeat کنم امرای رو در خود. مثلا بابیم was not the typical Afghan father. اینجا هم شیشتر بعد سر رو بشنوه، اما it's okay, I'm gonna flatter him a little bit. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna tell you guys about my father, who's sitting here, and I'm gonna embarrass him a little, but he was always my biggest cheerleader. Since I was a little girl, he would tell me basically that I needed to be my own man, that I needed to be just as strong, if not stronger than the men. He told me the best husband I'll ever have is my degree and my diploma because it'll never leave me and it'll always be there for me. And it's very true to this day. They raised me to be proud of who I am, and they raised me to be proud of my Muslim identity, to be proud of to be a woman. And coming from my father, that meant a lot. And I think that's very important in this society and in this day and age, that our brothers support their wives, support their daughters, and support their sisters in the community. My mother was my role model and was my example. When my father came here, he told her, I'm a man, I can go do whatever I need to do to survive. You're here, I was 1.5, my sister was 5, and he said, you need to go, you need to get an education, and you need to be able to take care of yourself in case I'm not here one day. So she went back to college here in the United States when she was in her 30s with children. You know, her English wasn't the best, but that's what I saw growing up, that it didn't matter that she was the woman and he was the man. He went and worked and told her, you go to school, get your education. And I said, okay, that's something that I can carry on with my children too. So I try to tell my daughter that she needs to be her own man, so to speak, but I don't even like using that word so much. I just tell her she needs to be the strongest person that she can be. For my son, same thing. He needs to be able to respect his sister, he needs to be able to respect all the women in his life as much as anyone else, and he needs to know what his role is as a man to support our role as Muslim women in the community. So, again, I'm kind of talking all over. I don't have a very specific, speech planned out because I just wanted to conversate with you all like I am doing right now. As you noticed, I touched on many different roles. And when you talk about the role of a Muslim woman, it's hard, again, because what's our focus? We wear different hats. Unlike our brothers, we have many roles. We are mothers, we are wives, we are sisters, we are daughters, we're community members, we're caregivers. And each one of those roles comes with its own responsibilities, it comes with its own rights, and it comes with its own opportunities to be able to help other women build up in the community. I think the other thing that came to mind as I was preparing just, what I wanted to share with is that I've given talks on being, a Muslim woman or being an Afghan woman or being an attorney many times in my life. I've done it in my late teens, I've done it in my 20s, I've done it in my 30s, and I'm slowly knocking on 40. I'm going to give my age away. And I've noticed that with each decade that passes, my perspective changes, circumstances changes. What you think is going to happen in your life may not always play out that way, and you have to be willing to go along with it. So if you were to ask me what the role of a Muslim woman was in my 20s, my answer would have been different. It was different than what it's going to be today. My answer was different maybe 5 years ago. My answer now depends on what's going on in my life and what's going on in my world. And I think that's one of the things that I wanted to impress tonight with everybody, is that our expectations are high. Everyone expects from us. Everyone expects from us as mothers, as sisters, as daughters, as community members, maybe as professionals, as working moms, as single moms. Everyone's circumstances are different. Everyone comes with different educational backgrounds, different work experience. And at the end of the day, the $1 billion question that gets asked all the time, regardless of whether you're a Muslim woman or any other type of woman, is can you have it all? Everyone wants to go to work, everyone wants to get the degrees, and everyone wants to do this. And then on top of that, in this day and age, our younger girls are faced with pressures of, can you keep up with the Kardashians, and can you keep up with your social media accounts, and can you keep up with the contouring styles? Everyone has an expectation of what it is that your role is. And I think what I've ultimately come to the conclusion in my, almost 40s, is that only you can define what your role is. Only you can be in a position to say what it is that you can contribute. Every one of us can contribute in our own each individual way, whether again it's as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a professional. When I'm at home with my kids, I have to fulfill that role. When I'm working, I fulfill that role. And ultimately, I think it does come down to the one thing that doesn't change, and that's our iman. That's our ultimate destination. The fact that at the end of the day, as Muslim women, we always have to channel those characteristics that we're taught by the mothers of the believers, by all the role models that we have. We're always looking for role models in society. I know I am for my daughter. I hope to be one for her, but I hope that she has many more. And at the end of the day, though, what I have to remember, and this is more a reminder to myself than anyone else, is that no matter what I'm doing and no matter what role I'm fulfilling in society, I have to remember my ultimate destination. I have to remember the characteristics of those, wonderful women, peace be upon them all, that basically were our examples. Their characteristics will help us in any situation that we may be facing today as women. Especially those who wear hijab outside right now. It's even more challenging. But I can tell you that with all the difficulties and challenges that have come in the political environment that we currently are in, there's a lot of blessing and barakat that has also come with it, because it has opened up many people's eyes to who we are, what we do, and for every one person that might have an issue with us, 2 or 3 stand up that say, we're with you and we support you. And that is something that we have to embrace. This is a perfect opportunity for ourselves to look at ourselves and how we represent ourselves as Muslim women, but it also is an opportunity for other people to see who we are. That we are strong, we are educated, we are mothers who may be at home, we may be professionals working outside, or we may be doing both. There's a lot of misconceptions, there's a lot of preconceived notions about who we are and what our role is. And that's something that we have to deal with all the time too. Growing up, I heard how, we should be sitting at home and doing nothing, and then not from, again, my family members, but our society, our community. But then I also heard from people how we need to go blend in and we need to go, be women of the 21st century. Well, I don't know that I want to be either necessarily. I don't want to blend in. I don't want to lose my identity, but I also don't want to necessarily sit at home. The most important thing that we can do is to be in a perpetual state of wanting to learn more about who we are so that we can better define our role as Muslim women. If we increase our knowledge constantly, and that doesn't come in just the form of a degree. It comes in whatever you can get your hands on. It comes in listening to whatever if it's a podcast, if it's an article, if it's watching a TV question and answer, whatever the case may be. We have to constantly be in a state of wanting to learn more and to be able to implement that in our lives. And I think once we get a better sense of who it is that we are, who it is that we're supposed to be, we can better embrace our roles as we define it, and not necessarily by what someone else defines. As our sister was mentioning, they sell tires and they're really selling the woman. I don't want to be sold. That's not how I want to define myself as a woman. That's not how I want to define myself as a human being. But at the same time, like when I was in Afghanistan, I don't necessarily want to be perceived as part of the furniture. Don't speak, don't talk, you have nothing to contribute, you're a burden on society. No, we're not. We're the ones that, we're the mothers. We're the one that keeps society going. We're the one that raises those boys that go become the men and the leaders in the community. We are the women that are going to be those leaders in the community by whatever method that we choose to do so. If that's being a stay-at-home mom, if that's being a working mom, if that's being a single mom, or whatever the case may be, we're responsible for raising that next generation. And we're not going to do that very well if we don't know who we are as Muslim women, if we don't learn about our predecessors, if we don't learn about the rights and the status that Islam has given to us personally. If I've learned anything over the years, is that everybody, again, has their own perceived notions, but at the end of the day, only I can define it. And I know I keep repeating that, but I think that's the most important thing I've learned from my experiences. I've also learned that the more you know you don't know. And you have to keep learning. And the other thing also that, you know, as an attorney in the community, I can tell you that the situation for women today is very different than it was for us 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or back home in Afghanistan, Iran, wherever back home might be. I can't tell you how many women call and want to know what their legal rights are because of a divorce, or because of domestic violence situations, or because of other injustices that are occurring in their lives. It's people in the community, it's people you may know, and you might not know what's going on. Like she was saying, you might see the giggles on the outside, or you know, the perceived good relationship, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and I think that's why it's even more important now that as Muslim women, we not only take advantage of the fact that, you know, we have this blessed religion that guides us and that gives us the owner's manual, basically. Who better to go to than the creator, right? So if we implement those things and we have a sense of God consciousness no matter what it is that we're doing, whether it's we're, you know, participating in an event like this, or whether we're serving on community boards, or if we are working as full-time professionals, bringing that into the picture again not only helps us be in constant remembrance of what that final destination is, but it also helps us identify as the Muslim woman that we should be, and it also lets the rest of the world know, you know, who we are as Muslim women and what we think of our role. Why are we going to let someone else basically define who we are, right? So my experiences in Afghanistan would make me think completely one way of the injustices and the situations that are going on with women. And my experiences here as an attorney in the community would, you know, give me a different perspective altogether. And at the end of the day, the common theme though is that we ourselves are responsible for the first thing even if it's just the fact that we have a conversation about what it means to be a Muslim woman, you know, what it means to be a young girl going in college, for example, maybe with hijab, maybe without hijab. You know, there's a lot of activism that's going on. There's a lot of older women that are getting more involved, whether it's in politics or whatever the case may be. Everyone can find their own niche depending upon their own strengths and weaknesses. There are some women who would never want to stand up in front of a crowd and talk, and that's okay. And there's some women who would love to do this all the time. I'm neither. I do it when the opportunity presents itself, but at the same time, you know, it just depends on the individual. If that's what you can contribute, that's how you contribute. If you think that your contribution is best at home, raising your children to be the best Muslim possible, the most productive member of society, somebody who's not going to be a burden, that's wonderful too. That is your role. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm getting out everything that I wanted to talk to you all about. You know, خداوند برای کدام رزق مختلف داده. برای یکی یک رقم استعداد داده، بر دیگر رقم استعداد داده. مسئولیت ماست که امروز استعداد خود بشناسیم و از او استفاده کنیم به نفع خود، به نفع فامیل خود، به نفع اسلام و هر رقمی که باشه. و مهمترین چیز که باید دخترای جوان خود تشویق کنیم که به امیر را پیش برن، که با جرأت باشن، که افتخار کنن سر دین خود، سر اسلام خود، بر رشته‌ای که پیش میخواین ببرن، به شرط که حلال باشن. You know, ultimately, each one of us will contribute in our own individual ways. And you know, I'm proud to serve on the Muslim Advisory Board with Imam Sabri, and Officer Humayun is the contact over there. It's those situations that, when the opportunity presents itself to be able to speak on behalf of someone else that I take pride in. For somebody who might not be able to speak for themselves, and that's the other thing I want to highlight, is that, whether you're an attorney or not, it's not necessarily relevant, right? It's if you have the ability to advocate for someone else, if you have the ability to speak on someone else's behalf, to be able to fight for justice. That's our Islamic obligation. Quran Sharif doesn't say that only a man is supposed to do that, right? It's any believer who sees an injustice is supposed to speak out against that. And first and foremost, باعث مسئولیت ازی داریم که خودمون به حق خود باید دفاع کنیم. اگر در اینجا است، افغانستان است، بعد هم در جایی که باشه زن متاسفانه که challenges داره, right? And so if that's again in the form of a professional choice, or if it's in the form of social activism, if it's in the form of going back home and giving that, having that opportunity, each of you can define it for yourselves. But ultimately, the role of a Muslim woman, as far as I'm concerned, is to be the best Musliman that we can be, to display the best characteristics that we can, to strive for perfection, as impossible as it is, but ultimately die trying. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Those are just, again, my stream of consciousness thoughts on the subject matter, and if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? کسی سوالی دارن واسه خانم؟ سوالی؟ I have a question for you. At what point was it that you decided you wanted to be an attorney? Was it something?
7 years old, I was watching Perry Mason, and I was very impressed with what he was doing on TV as a lawyer. I didn't fully understand what he was doing, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And as I got older and I learned more about what the actual role was, I knew that that was my calling. And so far in life, it's proven to be true. So,
thank you.
Thank you.